morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is CHEN 2190143. Today, I will represent for the sand casting engine block. Cylinder block, which is also called as engine block, is the main structure of the engine, which gives the space for the cylinders, and it also gives passage for the coolant, exhaust, and intake gases to pass over the engine and hose for the crankcase and camshafts. As the engine block is the main housing of the engine, it has to include number of requirements. These requirements include the wear resistance, long-lasting maintenance, and withstand the pressure it creates when combustion take place. It also has to withstand high temperature, vibration when the engine is in the running conditions. For main of the requirements, the main features is its material use.
Sorry, Chen, may I interrupt? I'm not clear which is the main housing of hundreds of parts found in modern engines. Thank you.
So KHAIRIL has asked a question. Which is the main housing of hundreds of parts found in modern engines? So cylinder blocks, which is also called as engine block, is the main structure of the engine, which gives the space for the cylinders. So the answer is the cylinder block, or called as engine block, is the main housing of hundreds of parts found in modern engines.
Okay, Chen, I have one question to ask you. What is the quality consideration during the production?
ARIF NAJMI also asked the second question. So the answer is strength of the sand has to be high to maintain a rigid shape, and permeability is the size of the sand grains. Higher permeability can reduce the porosity of the mold, but a lower permeability would lead to have a good surface finish. The thermal stability of the mold should be high to resist the damage such as cracking due to the molten metal. Ability of the sand to compress during solidification has to be high, unless the casting will not be able to shrink freely in the mold and it may result in cracking.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad KHAIRIL, the NORRESSAN HELMEE. My metric number is 2190093. So I'm going to explain about the material properties of cylinder block. Okay, the first one, it should have the height strength. Strength is referred to power handling capacity. The second one is modulus of elasticity, vibration resistance, and corrosion resistance. Vibration is the effect of friction, rubbing, and gassing, and corrosion is in Malay word terhakis. So cylinder block has ability to prevent from being rusty. Okay, the next one is low density thermal expansion, thermal conductivity, good machinability and castability of the metal alloy, and the last one is good vibration damping.
Excuse me, KHAIRIL, if you mind, may I ask what is thermal conductivity?
So Chen, you asked about thermal conductivity. The thermal conductivity is the ability to conduct it, and it represents the quantity of thermal energy that flow through unit area.
I'm not clear about the vibration damping. Can you explain further? Thank you.
Okay, Surya. So you don't care about vibration damping. Vibration damping is the process of absorbing or changing vibration energy to reduce the amount of energy that transmitted to the equipment, which means the cylinder block has the ability to reduce noises.
Hi, I'm 2190762 Surya Prakash TOULSIMANI. Now I'm going to present about the green sand molding. A green sand mold is composed of a mixture of sand or silica sand, clay, egg as binder, and water. The word green is associated with the condition of wetness or freshness, and because the mold is left in the damp condition, hence the name green sand mold. This type of mold is the cheapest and has the advantage that used sand is readily reclaimed, but the mold being in the damp condition is weak and cannot be stored for a longer period. Hence, such molds are used for small and medium-sized casting. The steps involved in green sand molding are all the process that we use in green sand molding. First one half of the pattern is placed on the molding board. The drag is placed with the dowel pins down. Molding sand is filled in the molding box to cover the pattern. The drag is completely filled with sand up to the top and rammed by the pin and end of the hand rammer. Excess sand is leveled by a strike of bar. The drag is still upside down cutting sand is applied on the surface. The other half of the pattern is how placed correctly on the already placed half. The cork is placed in position on the drag and aligned using double pins. The screw pin is placed vertically for the purpose of pouring molten metal. The risers are placed over the highest point of the pattern for the purpose of escaping the gases and identify the level of molten metal. Again, the molding stand filled in the cork box and ram. The riser and the screw pin are removed. The funnel shaped opening called a pouring basin is cut at the top of the screw pinhole. The cork is lifted, turned over and placed on the floor. The pattern pieces are carefully removed. The gate is cut that is connecting the screw basin and the mold cavity. The cork is placed carefully over the drag. And lastly, pouring the molten metal.
Sorry, I want to ask, what are the advantage of green sand molding process? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So the advantages of green sand molding, including green sand molds are softer than dry sand molds. This allows greater freedom in construction when the castings solidify and cool. Next, green sand molds are quite strong for small depths as the gases escape from them. And green sand molds do not require any baking operations or equipment, but dry sand cores are to be used.
Okay, Surya, why we use sand in coating process?
Alright, thank you. So in the other hand, the advantages of green sand molding, including the green sand molds cannot be stored for a long time. The green sand molds are not so strong as other molds are liable to be damaged during handling or pouring. The surface finish of the casting obtained from green sand molds is not very smooth, so hence they need finishing process. The green sand molds lacks permeability and strength, which causes certain defects like blowholes and etc. Thank you.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So next we go to the loss form casting. My name is Muhammad ARIF NAJMI ZULKIFLY. You can call me Jimmy. My material number 2190141. So after we go to the first process, which is we put the polystyrene bead, we will go to the second process of the last form casting, which is after all the dimension part we have done, we need to do the cluster assembly, which is the each part we will combine to form cluster. Okay, then after we get the cluster of the part, we will put into the basin. So after we put the cluster into the basin, we will go to the next process, which is the coating process. Okay, so the coating process di mana kita akan gabungkan, we will combine the cluster and we put into the basin. Then we fill sand pasir into the basin and compact it. Then lepas kita dah masukkan cluster tu ke dalam basin dan kita compactkan dengan pasir, which is sand, so we go to the next step. We will put the cluster assembly with the molten metal, dan kita akan biarkanlah the molten metal yang kita masukkan ke dalam basin itu sehingga menjadi keras, ataupun kita akan biarkan dia menjadi pepejal lah, sehingga molten metal itu jadi solid lah, okay, untuk dapatkan pattern yang kita nak. Okay, seterusnya kita akan go to the last form casting. Okay, untuk the last form casting kita akan menggunakan polystyrene bead ataupun manik polystyrene yang di mana we will melt it and kita akan cairkan dan kita akan tuang ke dalam mold, yakni acuan yang telah kita sediakan. Then acuan polystyrene bead itu kita akan reka bentuk dengan design rectangle dimension dengan pattern yang kita inginkan. Ikutlah kepada pattern yang we needed lah. Okay, so after the molten metal been solid, ataupun selepas pencecair besi yang kita masukkan ke dalam basin itu mengikut bentuk cluster di dalam basin yang ada pasir tadi, kita akan keluarkan lah, which is we will bring it out. The molten metal have been solid, and finally we can get the metal that have been give the dimension or pattern that we need. So done. That is the final result, which with the loss from casting process. Okay, so dah selesai dan my explanation about the loss from casting process. So this method it become more popular, sangat famous due to its capability to produce nature component. Is we can produce parts which is appropriate in shape, so that we can machine get the appropriate or the exact shape. It can provide exact shape, so also it can provide tight tolerance for critical components and reduce machine maintenance and cost.
I have one question for you. So why do you need to use sand in coating process? Thank you.
Okay, thank you Surya for asking me. That was a good question. Why we use sand in the coating process? Okay, why we use sand? Because sand is easy to compact and give more strength or enough strength to the wall when we do a coating process. Okay.
Okay, Jimmy, may I know where the polystyrene bit lost when the metal poured into the basin?
Okay, Chen. Thank you, Chen, for asking me. So, where the polystyrene bit go or lost when we pour the melting metal in the basin? Okay. So when we pour the melted metal into the basin, so the polystyrene bit get melt and dissolve or entered into the sand particle when we pour with the melted metal.